In this episode of Lake Log, I watch a bird while another bird's watching me. I see a bird here that I rarely ever see. In fact, never have seen. And I make another attempt to record the underwater world. But I'm not getting in the water with the cameras. That's a no. I've seen what's in here. That's a no. Lake Log mornings start really early. I'm an early riser anyway. I love to get up early in the morning. I'm clear-headed. I'm the most creative early in the morning. And the lake is the most peaceful early in the morning. And it's really nice to get out here before anybody else does. That was a big gar. Well, right when I started this morning, I saw a roseate spoonbill following two wood storks, and they flew across over somewhere where the wood storks are going to forage. There's an interesting relationship between the spoonbill and the wood storks. As the wood storks probe around in the mud, trying to catch whatever they're looking for, crayfish and small fish, the spoonbills will follow right behind them, and they will sweep through the area that the wood storks have stirred up, and they take advantage of that. And it's actually really cool to see because they just follow them around as if they're friends, but just capitalizing on what the wood storks are already creating for them. It's a nice osprey that I just spooked off this branch, and he went over to another branch. The limpkins are doing their thing. The last time I came out, I was trying to get some video of a immature black crowned night heron that was actually up in this tree right here. And I had to kind of get onto the other side of the channel here at Bird Island. And the sun was coming up, and it was super bright, and the light was really terrible, and I was trying to focus on this bird, and the canoe was moving, and it really frustrating. And I didn't notice until I got home that in the background, out of focus, was a great horned owl watching me the entire time. So I came out today and I thought, I'm just gonna check out these royal palm trees. I've seen owls in them before. And so when I came around the corner this morning, sure enough, there's a great horned owl sleeping up in this royal palm tree. So I'm trying to record it right now. I've got this really extreme camera angle, and the sun's coming up, and I just want to see if I can get something, and maybe if I'm lucky it'll turn and look my way, but it looks like it's trying to snooze right now. I'm gonna back up into the shade because it's really hard to see with the sun coming up this morning. Owls have excellent hearing, and no doubt it knows exactly what it's doing, and it can hear me talking to the camera right now. But it's kind of cool. You can see this owl is cooling itself off by doing what is called gular fluttering, and it's really kind of a hot morning this morning. It's real steamy. I'm gonna move on. This owl's been working the night shift and is no doubt really sleepy. So with the blowers and the car alarms and the traffic noise, he's gonna have to get some kind of sleep. I've talked about Bird Island before, but I just want to show you in comparison The size of Bird Island in comparison to, say, the Wellington Mall, which is a little north and west of here. I'm going to overlay the size of Bird Island from the air, the aerial view of the Google Earth view of Bird Island, and set it over the top of the Wellington Mall so that you can see just how small this space is. Looks like a young heron over here is in this classic heat dissipation pose, having its wings out and letting the heat escape, which is really cool. And I'm going to pull up just a little farther and see if I can capture that. Birds are really skittish. The last couple of trips out here, they don't really hang around very long, and it might just be because they're just not used to me like they used to be. I don't know. Might be my fault for not coming out more. This is really cool. This is a Yellow Crowned Night Heron over here on the other side, and I never see them here at all. Beautiful, beautiful birds, and they're pretty big too. This bird is probably like in this big, this range. It's big. But like all herons, it has really good eyesight, and it can see me and is watching me right now. I hope it sticks around a little bit longer. Well, I don't think that this night heron is going to do much more than preen and stand in the sun. So I'm going to move back over to the shallow part of Bird Island, and I'm going to try something that I've been wanting to try for a long time and only just messed around with in the last episode. Well, one of the things that I created was this double camera mount on a aluminum rod. Highly sophisticated piece of equipment. And I'm going to stick this in the water with one camera below and one above. I'm going to put it over here and leave him running for a while and paddle away, and hopefully I can get something to come by. It's kind of like fishing. And I was never any good at fishing. I could never catch anything. The only thing I ever caught fishing was an attitude.
Fish can be curious about something new in their environment. The first visitors were a few young largemouth bass. The first to get close to the camera were a few juvenile redhead cichlids, who made a few passes until a redear sunfish chased them off. The bass appeared again, followed by a large Mayan cichlid. These fish are considered non-native and invasive to Florida, but the upside to that is that you can eat them. It would turn out that this Mayan cichlid would be a complete ham for the camera, even more so than me. It'll probably have its own YouTube channel. It'll have more subscribers. You know what I mean. It came back again and again, seemingly fascinated by the little camera that had invaded its territory. So what is a cichlid anyway? There are over 1,650 of them, and that makes the cichlid the largest family of vertebrates on the planet. What makes them unique and what fascinated me the most is that cichlids have two sets of jaws. They have what's called a pharyngeal jaw. There's a jaw on the outside, that's the fish's mouth, and that's for grasping prey and catching it. And then there's a second jaw down inside the throat that actually processes what they caught. There are lots of other reasons why cichlids are different, but this was the one that I got hung up on. 2 sets of jaws in one fish. Interestingly enough, the moray eel also has a pharyngeal jaw. And I can't identify this one. I tried. But that is a largemouth bass, chased away by the not yet named whatever it is. And then there's this beast. This might be a Nile tilapia, or it might be another species of tilapia. Honestly, freshwater fish are not as easy to identify as birds, and I'm not an expert with birds either. Cichlids also have another interesting feature. Some of them are mouth brooders. What that means is that shortly after laying the eggs, the female scoops them up in her mouth, and they're actually fertilized in the female's mouth by the male. And this is where it gets interesting. The black spots on the tails of most cichlids are actually called egg spots, and they're meant to mimic an egg. And what this does is it tempts the female to try to swallow it. So by putting her mouth close to the egg spot on the tail of the male is then able to fertilize the eggs that are actually inside the female's mouth. And all this time, I thought the spots were to mimic another eye, to trick predators. It's not that at all. Here comes the prohibited spotted tilapia. The Florida Wildlife Commission advises that if you catch one, you should immediately put it on ice, as possession of a live spotted tilapia in Florida is illegal without a permit. They are that much of a concern. While the cameras recorded, I decided to paddle around Square Lake and see what I could see. There wasn't much going on. Bird life was scarce, but I settled in on the south side of Bird Island, facing the rising sun, in a thick patch of hyacinth, and I became fascinated by the dragonflies. And before I even realized it, a limpkin appeared, hunting for snails in the deeper water below the hyacinth. And I let the camera run. The redear sunfish were relentless in defending their territory, and overall I was really surprised by how much activity I had captured in 26 or so minutes. And as I had hoped, a limpkin even waded by in its low-speed pursuit of apple snails. Bird Island, as it would seem, is teeming with activity above and below the surface. A little bit like the Wellington Mall on a Sunday, or the day before Christmas. Oh, there's those bass again, coming by to remind me that I could never catch them. Thanks.
Well, the super steamy, looks like it's going to rain weather turned into almost cloudless, blazing sunlight, and I'm a little too overexposed for this, so I gotta go. And I appreciate you coming along. Thanks.